sewn a pumpkin? Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're not sewing a pumpkin, but we are doing a quilt block as a scrapbook layout, and it's going to be 2 pages rather than just one. So essentially 2 quilt blocks, and they're both pumpkins, and they're designed to go together, and they are super, super cute. I hope that you enjoy this one. And I hope that you're not over all the fall stuff, because we still have all of November to go, right? With all the beautiful fall stuff. And if you're living in the on the East Coast, I would be willing to bet that you have all those beautiful colors popping out and have been enjoying those for a few weeks now. Probably things are starting to fall off actually about now. But we continue in our grateful mind, right? In our grateful mindset. And we are continuing with these beautiful fall colors in our scrapbooks with our photos that we've taken of them. So I hope that this will be a useful layout for you. And lest we jump into Christmas too soon, we are getting started on our December Days project. I'm getting started on my December Days project this evening. So if you still want to join me, there's still plenty of time to do that. Although I am changing that because I didn't have anyone register at this point. So I am not going to be doing it live for you anymore, but I am going to pre-record. I am going to record all of my sessions, and my husband will put that together for you. So if you are interested in doing that project and you want to power through it all when December gets here, you're welcome to do so. You can still reach out to me, and I'd be happy to get you the information. There will be a fee for that, but I'll have to figure out what that fee will be, since it won't be a live situation. So let me know if you're interested in that. Okay, let's check out my workspace, and we'll get started on today's quilt block scrapbook layout. All right, so I have kind of a combination of things out here on my desk today. I have 2 of this plaid comes from the Grateful Harvest Tone on Tone paper pack. So these yellow plaid pieces are this paper right here that comes from Grateful Harvest. Grateful Harvest came out this year, and is a super fun fall collection from this year. And then these other papers that I'm using, the wood and the leaf paper, come from Autumn Cottage. And Autumn Cottage came out last year. This was the fall collection from last year. And so we're going to use those papers plus a scrap from the Grateful Harvest regular paper pack. That's what this one is. Or possibly some avocado cardstock. I haven't really decided yet which one of those is good we're going to use. But we're going to make some pumpkins today. And I know Halloween is over, but you know what? Pumpkins are kind of a universal fall theme. And because I started this adventure doing quilt square layouts, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do 2 different quilt square layouts. And so I'm going to just set these 2 aside. These are going to be our base pages, and we are going to use the yellow side because I just feel like it's cheerful and vibrant and going to work well for what we're going to do. These 2 papers are going to be our main focus for manipulating today. And there's a couple of different ways that you could do this. But I'm going to do some paper cutting and repiecing together, similar to what you might do if you were sewing this. And you might think, well, I don't really need to do that because because it's paper, and I could just cut it all or cut it and leave it as one big piece and then adhere the smaller pieces. And that is true. You can do it that way. But the way that I'm going to show you to do it is my choice, because I think it's going to be easier for placing the smaller pieces that we're going to do. So we'll find out if that would be easier or not. But I think in the long run, it's going to be easier to do it the way that I'm going to recommend that we do this. Okay, so I'm going to take this leaf paper. We're going to start here, and we're going to cut 2 inches. So I want to cut 2 inches off of each of the edges so that I can make this 10 inches across. Okay, so measuring 2 inches, I'm going to take that off, and then going to turn it and take 2 inches off of this now shorter edge. Okay, so we have 2 inches and 2 inches. Okay, now we have a 10-inch square, and this is the point where you could do this, take this a different direction, but I'm going to have you do it a certain way so that it's just a little bit easier. Okay, so in the long run. So we're going to cut this 10-inch piece into 5 2-inch strips. Okay, so we're going to cut here, and we're going to cut, actually, I'm just trying to decide, do I really want to do that? Yeah. No, I'm going to cut 2 inches off the top, and I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to cut 2 inches off the bottom. Let's see if we can do it that way. That's sort of, I'm hoping that's going to combine the best of both worlds. Okay, so this is going to go this direction. This goes this direction. Like that. Okay. Now, I'm going to come in here with my 0 centering ruler, or any ruler of any kind would be fine. And I'm going to measure right along the edge. And I'm just going to measure, sorry, I have to get my head in the way of the camera a little bit. I want to measure 2 inches from the edge and 2 inches from this edge. Just put a little mark. Okay, 2 inches from each of those edges. And the same thing on this other 2-inch piece we've got right here. Okay, so we're gonna I'm just trying to make sure I've got my ruler lined up so that I can measure 2 inches from that edge and 2 inches from that edge. I think that's right. It's definitely hard to see with it way out there in the middle of the table. Let me just double check it. I'm just going to use my grid on my tabletop, actually, because that is going to be easier for me. And I want to make sure that this is accurate. So we're going to just mark that at 2 inches. That side's good. Let's double check this one. Yeah. It's so hard when it's way out in the middle of my mat, because then I either get my head in the frame and you can't see what I'm doing, or my measurements are just off kilter. All right. It has nothing to do with my ruler. It has everything to do with me and my logistics. And you know what? I think I'm going to flip my strip over because my third channel there is getting quite a groove in it. All right, so now I'm going to take take this piece that I've just marked with my 2-inch marks right there, okay, and you know what I'm thinking? I just want to make sure I have this marked on the correct side. This paper is so funny because you really could use it going any direction and it would be, you would think it was up. That was the up direction. All right, so I'm going to lay the mark right here on my cutting line and the lower corner on my cutting line. And we're going to go ahead and cut that corner off. I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to come over here and do that again from the mark right here that I made to the outside corner. And we're going to cut that. All right, so there's that one. Then we're going to come in here with this piece. And here's the mark that I made. There's the corner. And this one. There's the mark. There's the corner. Realigning. All right. And there is that piece. Okay, so I'm going to leave my trimmer sitting there right like that. I'm going to add that to one of my base sheets. We're going to set these aside for a second. I'm going to grab the wood piece and we're going to do the same or something similar. We're going to do actually the same thing. So I'm going to cut 2 inches. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to cut 2 more inches. Okay, so now we have a 10 by 10 square. Do I want my lines, my grains going up and down or side to side? I think I want them going up and down. All right, so I'm going to turn this horizontally to cut my 2 2-inch pieces. One off the top, one off the bottom. Okay, so there's one. Turn this around so that I can use the 2-inch side over here and a 2-inch grid mark to mark that. And then we'll turn both of those around, right? So we've got this piece and this piece. Okay, so now I'm going to take these 2 pieces, line them up on my grid on my desktop, and mark the 2-inch mark, which is going to be a little tricky to see on this wood paper, but we're going to make it work. Okay, let's go ahead and while I can see those marks clearly, we're going to trim off the 2-inch pieces. The triangles there. Okay, here we go. All right, so there's that one. And 2 inches on the bottom edge. Marking both of those. There we go. And now we've got both of those. Okay, we're not done with our trimmer, so don't put it away. Okay. So we're just gonna, I'm gonna set these on top of that second base sheet. All right, now, I'm going to use these pieces to help me create this a pattern. So I'm going to save these. We're going to use all 4 of these 2-inch triangles, but I also need, I'm going to use the shorter strip of this, and I'm going to cut 2 more 2-inch squares, or 2 2-inch squares. So 1 and 2. Okay, then I'm going to stack those 2-inch squares, and I'm going to cut them straight down the middle. So I'm going to line them up at the 1-inch mark. The 1-inch mark here is where the edge of that's going to go. Okay, shut my trimmer and go ahead and cut those right down the middle. Okay, so now I have 4 1 by 2 inch pieces. All right, and those pieces are going to go with my wood pieces, and then the other pieces, these, we're going to use the wooden side actually. So this one I need let's do it the easy way. We're going to cut this strip into 2 4-inch pieces. Okay, and then I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to mark this at 2 inches. Okay. Now I need actually another 2-inch piece, or I might be able to use 2 of these. So let's, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and stack these 2 pieces, and I'm going to cut from that center mark to the outer corner. So I'm going to line it up just like we did before. We're going to make a really wide triangle. Okay, so there's one, and I've got some more triangles to play with. And here's the second one. Okay, and we're going to have these 2 triangles, and then we're going to play with some of these triangles and see how it looks, see if we can get it to look right. And if we can't, then we'll come back to this piece and cut another one. All right, I'm going to go with, I think, this piece from Grateful Harvest, and we're going to cut a 2-inch piece off of this and make a 2-inch square. Actually, we need 2 2-inch squares, so I'm going to go ahead and cut 2. And we'll just stack these and turn them and cut those at 2 inches. That bottom one didn't quite cut through. Let's see. Line that up again. There we go. All right. And I think we may be done. So I'm going to move these papers over here because those definitely are extra. Let's start with this one with the wood base. Okay. Now, just moving my pattern so that I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to take this piece first. I'm going to take my repositionable adhesive. Anytime I'm doing anything with points like we've got here, I like to use my repositionable adhesive because I can get all the way out there to the edge of that point and not stress over where the adhesive is landing. Okay, so I'm going to line up my base paper with my mat, and that's going to help me to center this piece. Okay, so we are going to, the edge is going to be at the 1 inch mark, and the center bit here is going to be at the 3 inch mark. Now we're going to place that right down. Okay, so it's going to be 3 inches in from each corner is where that corner is going to go. Okay, then we're going to take this center bit and we're going to add this on. And I know you're saying to yourself, but I just cut that. Why am I adding that back? You're going to see here in just a second. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to take this top piece this piece is going to fit. Oh, see that? I cut it wrong. It should have been this way. I cut my angles on the wrong side. Oh, dang, 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 dang. So maybe the answer is to cut your angles first, then cut your paper. Why is that not lining up? It should line right up, but because it's flipped, that's probably why it's not lining up. All right, then I'm going to take one of these little gray pieces, and this is going to be the stem. So I'm going to go ahead and place this. Let me line up my block. This is going to go right in the middle, 1 inch to either side of the center. Okay, that fits right on there. So there's the top of my pumpkin. All right, now I'm going to use my zero centering ruler, and I'm going to place it. Let me keep my paper lined up here. I'm going to place my zero centering ruler so that it is lined up right on the edge of the stem of my pumpkin. All right, and I can see on my mat down here that it is lined up just right. Okay, then I'm going to take one of the triangles that we cut, And the triangle is going to go in this format, and we're going to line the tip up right where we cut it. So it's going to go along, the left side will go right along the ruler, and the tip will go right where that cut line is. Okay? Then I'm going to take another one, and let me get a different one that doesn't have that yellow leaf like the top one has, just for some variety. And we're going to do the horizontal edge across the top. And this one is going to go with the bottom point touching the cut line that we made. Okay. Then I'm going to take one of my 1x2s, and that's going to go right in between All right, now I'm going to move my zero centering ruler over and line it up with the left-hand side of my stem. And we're going to line this one up let me see what's on the other one. Okay, we're going to put this one up here on top and make that upper point again touch the cutting line and put the vertical edge right along the zero centering ruler. And then the horizontal edge is going to go, this point down here, the horizontal edge will go out from the ruler, vertical edge is along the ruler, and the lower point is right on that cut edge. Okay. And then I'm going to take another 1x2. Maybe we'll turn this leaf upside down just for fun. And that piece is going to fit right there in between. Okay. And these other two pieces are going to go horizontally. So I'm going to line this one up with both of those quilt pieces, both of those triangle tops. And then this piece will go horizontally across to join those two. Like that. And this piece will go, excuse me a second, I gotta get into my work here. This piece will go across just like that. All right, so there's one of our pumpkins. Now let's do the second one. I'll set that one over there. Let's get the other one down here. All right, and this one we are going to go ahead and start the same way. We're going to build the pumpkin. Line this up. This lower edge, or lower point, is going to go at the 3-inch mark. That point will be at the 3-inch mark there. Good to go. Okay, then we're going to take this top that we cut earlier. This piece will go right on top. And we'll do the stem. Line this up on the mat, and we can see that right there is the middle. Perfect. All right, and this one we're gonna actually flip over so it's upside down, which may seem weird, and if you don't like it this way, you don't have to do it this way, but this is the way that the pattern that I was basing this off of. This is the way that pattern works. One pumpkin is right side up and the other pumpkin is upside down. And then this one, this first triangle is the important one, so that we get it in the right place, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and line my zero centering ruler up again with this left-hand side of the stem, making sure that it's straight. And then this first triangle is going to go flat side down, base side down, right along that cut edge that we made before, right? Okay. And then this next one is also going to be cut side down. So we're going, the flat side down, and this point will be at the zero centering ruler. And if you have your zero centering ruler, it's right at the 0. This point right here points right to that 0 line, if you're lined up the way you should be. Okay, so there's that. Then the next one is going to be a little bit more challenging because we don't have, I'm going to see if I have, those two go together pretty well. We could do these two. So let's try it with just triangles, and smaller triangles that we are going to add. The only problem I foresee here is lining it up properly so that it is not crooked. Let's see if we can make that happen. Make sure my ruler is nice and straight. Then the point and the corner. So this points to the 2 line, and this corner is right at the top of the other triangle, and then this one's they're just gonna kiss each other. Just like that. Okay. All right, so that essentially is that is our base for our 2-page layout. Okay, then we can come back in here with some sticker embellishments and add to our page. Let's see what we can find that I have left that we can add on to this. And also I thought I would show you, so you may be thinking, well, what in the world would I do? Where would I put my pictures on this layout? And so I thought I would share that with you. So 3.5 by 3.5 photo fits just perfect right there in the middle. And if you wanted to, you could add additional photos around it. So you could put a 3.5 by 3.5 here, a 3.5 by 3.5 here. And I feel like you're not going to lose the whole integrity of having made the pumpkin and created the design by putting your photos like that. Okay, so you still can see the pumpkin, you can still see the design in the middle, you could still do a title across the top, you could do some journaling, maybe with a white pen right here in the middle, and put your embellishing on your page. Okay, so let's see where we would put it over here on this one. I think I would be inclined to just make a tower of photos on this page. Maybe like that. Maybe center them just a little bit better. More like that. And then you could just leave this decorative on this side, or you could come in here and add another photo at the bottom, or you could, I mean, what is that? That's 5 photos on this page, 4 more over here, that's 9 photos. This one, you know, you could add a smaller or more narrow photo along this edge. Make it a 2.5 by 5 or something like that, which would be really, really narrow, but you could do it. So it just sort of depends on where you want your photos to go. But I think I would be very much inclined to just leaving this whole side open and maybe adding my title over here or something along that line. And we're gonna just go to town with some fun embellishing here. Make a cluster from those. Maybe and just add just a little leaf down here at the bottom. Or maybe ooh, comfy. Kind of like that. there maybe. Let's see. Ooh, someone's here to visit. I wonder who that could be. Right there. And let's do clusters are just, they can be so fun, but they can be so stressful trying to figure out what to put with what and how to make it all balance. And yeah, clusters are an interesting skill, especially when you're using stickers, so everything sticks to your fingers even when you don't necessarily want it to. You want it to stick to what you want it to stick to, right? But inevitably it doesn't. All right, I think let me see where that photo would go if we put the photo in here. So if that photo is going to go there, we would need this to go kind of over here. So let's pop that up with some foam squares so that it isn't touching.
If you put another photo right there, you could have Mickey ears.
Yes. This is Emily. Say hello, Emily.
Hey, everybody.
So the idea with this one is that the photos will go.
Oh, very cool, yeah.
Like that.
You can see so much of your pretty paper.
Oh, so he could actually put this one kind of down into, yes, so we can see a lot of the pretty paper, and we can.
How versatile.
Yeah.
All you marvelous humans. I've been very busy, which is why I haven't been making any videos with my mama. But next week, we shall be filming more.
Oh! You heard it from the horse's mouth. Sort of.
Am I a horse?
Well, no, not really. Sorry, I misspoke myself. But.
No, I get it, Mama. Yeah. Bye, guys.
I wasn't going to throw her under the bus. She threw herself. That's okay.
Bye.
Oh! All right. So here we've got our cute little additional. Should we pop this one up too? I think so. Just to add some balance, we're going to pop this one up too. Which means I'm going to need to get my powder out, which is fine. We can do that. maybe over here too. All right, so that one's going to go down here. Not going to worry about popping that one up. We'll just leave that one just where it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna adjust this one just a smidge. Maybe we'll make the books so that they are looking like they're sitting flat. And we'll straighten out our pumpkin just a smidgen. Okay, so there's that. This one, I'm not going to adhere these on this side. We're just going to adhere the ones that are more towards the middle. Oh, hold on. I need to powder these. My ladies, I was showing them the powder the other day and they got so excited. Which is awesome. Which actually reminds me I probably need to get some more just so that next time someone needs some, I have it. Not that those ladies will need any right away. You would be surprised, but this powder seems like it lasts forever. I would be curious to know, of those of you who are watching my channel and you use powder on your layouts or on your stickers, I would love to know if any of you have run out, because I really don't think that I will ever run out. And I use it quite a lot, but I don't think I'm ever going to run out. There's so much in the container and you use such a finite amount each time that you use it, that I just can't imagine ever running out. All right, we're just almost there. Almost there, almost there. Here we go. I love this layout. I just think this is just the coolest. All right, so we're going to put this right here. And we'll move just a couple of these just to remind ourselves that this is where the pictures are going to go. Over here. Maybe before I take the picture for the thumbnail, I will get some more templates so that it's easier to tell where the photos go on this. But this is a fun and I think a pretty quick one to put together. So I hope that this is one that you'll be able to do. You can use any of your papers that you have left from a collection. Like you saw, I used 2 pieces of paper and some scraps, and it just goes together beautifully. So I hope this is easy enough that you are able to duplicate it in your own albums and have fun with it. Thanks so much for joining me today. And if you're not already going to be doing the December days, but you want to do that, I'm going to record that Monday. Right now I don't have anyone signed up for it, so I'm recording it for myself, but I will show you what I make, and then maybe that will sway some of you. We'll see how that goes. All right. Thanks so much for joining me today. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.